Vigilante is a story about Dexter Gooding, who has been involved in crime and served time, was deported back to Barbados, and then finds his peaceful village has become a center for crime. And he sets out full of passion and guilt to change that and becomes a vigilante. And in his quest for justice, he meets Amy, a white Barbadian woman who's got the same goal, but she's using very different weapons to get there. In this program, we're going to talk about one of the key issues in the movie, race. And we're going to talk to some of the actors in the movie, some of the people who work behind the scenes, and also just the average person on the street who can tell us about what their ideas are about race and about how this movie will affect people and how we live our lives.
Barbados is one of the most racist places in the world. Barbados is more racist than South Africa. All Barbados is established with a clique, the host nigger, and the field nigger, and then the lesser man.
There's a quiet kind, I like to refer to it as a culture of silence. White Barbadians, they don't hurl insults at you, but they will not pay you any attention. It's a kind of quiet kind of insult. Nobody might use the N-word at you, but you will probably find that you will say good morning and they will probably look at you and not even nod.
I get called Whitey on a regular basis, sometimes with a little psst here or a little side added onto it.
Even the unlearned white person are more privileged than the learned black person.
It's hard to hear derogatory comments only based on your appearance.
So it's not only in the States, it's not only in Africa, it's right here in the Caribbean.
Have you ever experienced racial prejudice because of your skin color? Either of you?
Yeah, I think we both have. I think it's interesting that when you're in the minority, you're constantly mixing with the majority. And I think it almost can be a bit more overt at times. You know, there's a couple of situations once when I was out getting some exercise and just running down the road, and you know, someone will curse you upside down for, you know, no apparent reason.
It's hard, especially when you know that you're walking through town and you know that people notice you, and I try not to react and get upset, but sometimes I have no choice.
When we were first dating, we went to a reggae concert at Kensington Oval, and there weren't very many white people there, and a group of young black men, and one did spit on me. Wow. So it does happen. The other thing that I've experienced is that I've been involved in many performances as a dancer, and I have been told that I couldn't do a dance because there were too many white people in the dance. Had to be a certain amount of black people. In advertising, which my sister is involved in for many years, she couldn't have too light a person in the ad because you would actually get people to call in and complain that the person was too light in the ad. So it's kind of turning the other way.
I think it cuts both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I think sadly, people are people. Or maybe good that people are people, but what I'm saying is the weaknesses of discriminating against someone because of color aren't confined to one color person. Yeah, I mean, you'll see it both ways. You'll see where white people are hostile to black people because of their skin color, and we'll have the other way where a black person would be hostile to a white person.
Living in Barbados as a minority has been an eye-opening experience for me because I actually didn't realize I was a minority. I didn't realize I was any different from the people I hung out with, and I didn't see it that way until I went to an event where the majority of the people there were white, and white Bajans as well, but I didn't realize they existed. It was a whole new realm of people I hadn't been privileged to meet, and I actually felt uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I fit in that group, and it was a strange experience. My friends laughed at me and said, "But you're one of them," and I thought, well, really, I didn't know.
A lot of people have they've said, oh, I like black people, I like you, even though you're black, I like you. But still, there's something about them, like at my school where I go to school, there's a place for white people, there's a place for black people, and I never ever thought that I would have seen that. I've heard of it like in history and those kind of things, but I never thought that I would actually experience it. We have to sit here. And
so does somebody tell you we have to sit there, or
No.
is that just kind of the accepted?
It's the accepted thing, but because the type of person I am, I don't accept that, because I mean, like, that's ridiculous. We're all people. So you sit over there and I sit over there, and it's very, very obvious that it's not like we sit here and you sit here. It's we sit here and you sit there kind of thing. So I told my friends, I don't believe in this. They just kind of accepted it. Well, this is how the school is. This is how we roll. And I said, no, it's not how I roll. So I would go and I would sit with them, and you would see everybody just look at me and whisper. And then they would ask you, why are you here? I said, well, it's a bench. Can I sit on a bench?
I do remember being a part of dance community. I'm a dancer, I'm a performing artist, and I've grown up dancing with many white people. And I feel as if I've always felt like a bit of an outsider. Even though I was very talented, I always felt like I was not a part of the family or of the group when I was a student.
Right.
And then if you get involved in their discussions, they just stare at you like, what is she doing? And it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I know that it's something I have to do, because I don't want that other people that come into the school, that's what they see of our school. That's what they see of schools in Barbados.
Have you experienced any racial discrimination based on the color of your skin?
Unfortunately, yes, I have. Some girls were plaiting my hair. As Bajans would call it, it was a cornrow. They were cornrolling my hair. And one of the teachers came out and sent me to the office. And I got to the office and they said, you need to take your hair out. And I said, why? Why am I going to take my hair out? I actually like it. It feels quite nice. They're like, no, white girls don't do that.
Wow.
It's just not right. So I don't want to say what I did next. I just kind of walked out the school.
I do remember, however, feeling disadvantaged while in Paris and in London because of my race. Notably, when shopping for clothes, I remember being in a store and just being dismissed and wondering why when I was in Paris. And that was my very first experience. I was 22 years old, and people had warned me about it, but I had never experienced it like that before.
I mean, just walking through town, you get a lot of stuff. And I mean, I'll be out somewhere, and instead of telling me, I go to a shop and I say, what's the price of that shirt? And they'll go, $105. I say, yeah, it's a Bajan though, so give me the real price. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, girl, it's just, you real fair, and you know how it is. I was like, yeah, I know you try and make money, but no, give me the real price, please. So yeah, I mean, I do have a little bit of those sort of things going on, but I would say that I know how to hold my own, so I don't get it too much.
Then later on, living in London, I had a similar experience on a train where I would have been sitting in a forbidden area, I think, or in a forbidden area. And I didn't see the sign. I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to be sitting there. And I was fined for where I chose to sit. However, there were two white people that were also sitting with me. And the conductor, he totally dismissed them, and he chose to fine me. When I stood up to him and when I spoke up against that, I was dismissed. I was asked to calm down. I was told that I could write to the transport system, which I did. And obviously I was not compensated, but I remember feeling so small and so little.
So have you ever personally experienced any racial prejudice here in Barbados or in the Caribbean?
Yeah, definitely. Traveling to the US, the UK, as a performer.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's a lot more social. Because I've even walked into rooms where, you know, I've got my hair braided or open at this point. I've got a lot of tattoos. And there's, you know, I've walked past people and they actually held their purse.
Really?
You know? And then when you speak, be surprised. Oh, you got a nice voice. You speak well. You know, it comes down to that. It doesn't just come down to the appearance. It's then the education plays is a factor.
It's the way you're perceived.
Yeah, the way you speak, who you are.
So, what do you think? We've talked about race. What does that mean? What do you think that means to people? I think we throw that term around and maybe we really don't know what we're saying.
This race thing never happened to me. In fact, it was one of my directors, theater great friend, who we used to hang out sometimes after a show or whatever, rehearsals, and he said to me, well, you know, you're privileged. And I went, no, what? You know?
There are racist issues here though, Kay. Friends of mine do experience problems. Black friends, Indian friends of mine, whereby they would go out with me to an establishment, a store, wherever. And they say that the attention they would receive would be better. They'd be treated more respectfully if they were with myself or a white person than if, for instance, they go by themselves. So there are issues of racism here in Barbados to an extent. But I personally have never been discriminated against, and I've been all over the Caribbean. I've traveled extensively to every island, and I personally have not experienced black people being racist toward me.
Because of your skin color?
Yeah, or white, I mean, obviously. I find everybody very loving, warm, friendly in the Caribbean. I'm loving and warm and friendly to them, and I hug and kiss everyone. I mean, so much so that my husband, when we met, he said to me, do you have to be so tactile and touch and kiss up everybody? And, you know, I am like that, though. I'm very loving, and I've had to learn to not be so tactile with everybody, you know. I would go into Bridgetown, and the car wash guys, I would go give them big hugs and kisses, and, you know, my husband would be like, my gosh, you're going to lead them on. You're going to lead them on. You know, so I have this problem where I don't see color in that way. I just see everybody's human. We all have the same blood running through our veins. You know, what separates us is fear, pride, religions, religious beliefs separate people, you know. But the skin color issue, I mean, how we can look at a black person and think that they're any less than us because of the color or pigment that is in their skin, to me, is preposterous.
All around me, I see racial discrimination. And I would have to be living on another planet in order to get away from it.
I cannot tell you that I can identify a time. I think that what happens is that because I'm an entertainer and I find that one area where it is a little bit tricky to show discrimination is in entertainment, especially in Barbados, because it is like a black-dominated industry.
Right.
So you usually find that white people are more operating in the more traditional industries. So when it comes to calypso, when you really look at it, because that's part of the industry that I'm in, and there are not really a lot of white people who are into calypso. I can think of the only white person that comes to my mind that I would say is into calypso and into the industry seriously, who I have worked with and I've had a very good working relationship with, is Tony Hoyas. So because of the fact that and even in terms of calypsonians, there are not really a lot of white calypsonians either. You've had the Mighty Whitey, the late Mighty Whitey. You had the Silver Surfer, and it's sort of like an anomaly when that even white people come in and sing calypso. Right. So because of that, I feel privileged in that there are not really a lot of white people trying to be in the industry. So I cannot tell you that I've encountered a lot of racism.
Yeah, my name is STEDSON, WILTSHIRE, Red Plastic Bag. I'm a calypsonian. I've been singing calypso for over 33 years. I love the art form. Of course, you know, calypso was born out of struggle and protest. First started on the plantations. So calypso really is a powerful medium for calypsonians to use to to spread messages, to speak up with the ills in society. And over the years, I've been doing quite a bit of that alongside of many other Calypsonians across the Caribbean. The Calypsonian is seen as a mirror in society, is seen as a storyteller, the people's newspaper. And we use this medium to tell our stories in song. And here in Barbados, we sing in the Calypso tents. Throughout the Caribbean, the Calypso tents where we actually go and we sing our songs.
I do recall once, a number of years ago, when I was president of the Barbados Association of Tent Managers, and we were trying to book a white group, and then at a point in time I was trying to book this group, and it just seemed to me as though I was not able to get the group booked because money was no issue. I could not see any reason. I was trying to get them constantly, and I could not see any reason why they were saying no. And then there was a point in time that it dawned on me that it's probably because I'm black and they're white, and that's probably why it is that they're not allowing me to book them. And to me, that's the one time that I can remember that I sort of came up with where race came into it, and it dawned on me. And it did not dawn on me at first. It dawned on me after some time.
Only when the tourists come do I sort of blend back in, but I stick out every day. And most of the time I don't notice, but when people call me out and call me names, it's hard.
Have you experienced discrimination because of the color of your skin?
Oh yeah, I think most of us have, regardless of what color you are. It's usually in a verbal form, you know.
So like verbal abuse?
Yeah, maybe, white this, that, and the next, or But you know, when I experience that, I recognize that that's that individual. I don't associate that with all people of the same color as the one who spoke those words, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, no, because that would be silly.
Yeah, really. But unfortunately, there are some that do.
Right.
So, for example, if some people, if they experience insults to do with race from the other race, maybe they might experience it a few times even, and then they automatically then paint that experience, across the board, and it's unfortunate, but it does happen.
As in, all people with white
Yeah,
skin
so
are like this,
yeah.
all people with dark skin are like this. Oh yeah, no, I think you're right. I always have an urge when people say something to me about my skin to say, oh, I'll get right on that. Oh, wait a minute. I can't change that. I mean, so if you're gonna insult me about something I could do something about, because this isn't one of those things.
Even in church sometimes it's hard to feel connected, and I don't know why. And someone pointed out it's because you're white, and I don't. Those things don't process through my mind quite properly. So privilege. I go to stores, and sometimes someone will initially completely ignore me, simply because I'm white, and I don't know why. I don't know if someone's done something to them, and I resemble something from their past, but I can either get preferential treatment, no treatment, or just like a normal person. And I would 100 times take normal person any day. So I would say there's, from both sides, I think there are great advantages and great disadvantages of being the minority. So.
This is a beautiful community. But over the last 6 months, crime has reared its ugly head in our community. I mean, it's too dangerous. You can't trust them.
Miss Emmy, they shot my arm, Miss Emmy! Oh, look! Miss Emmy, there! Did they see your wrist?
Dexter, isn't he the ex-con?
Yes, but hey, look, he said he changed.
You need to trust me.
Someone's watching us.
They're coming! I can't do this, Dexter.
As all of you know, or most of you probably know, our property was robbed.
Here's another ambulance. Lord, protect my children. Dexter, we need money. What are you doing?
right on time. Get out. Get out.
Apart from a few of you and Faith, who lives in Baker's Village, no one else is willing to help in an after-school program for extra credits in this course.
I'm thinking of staying in Baker's Village for a week.
You serious?
Yeah.
Whatever plantation it is that you crawl off of, if I was you, I would go back on it here. I want your family here. Listen, you don't need to leave in here.
I work for them. And in all that time, they never once asked me to give my opinion about nothing in the house. So how the hell she get to come in here and give speech?
She brought her black bastard in here for, huh?
It's between we. Between we. Boy, this no road tennis. Put down the gun. Let her go. Shoot the man, Roach. Shoot the man. You lose, Dexter. You lose.
I just want to thank you for watching today and encourage you to go out and see Vigilante-the Crossing. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the other quality productions by Step, please visit us on our website, www.thevigilantethecrossing.com. And we also have a Facebook page. Thank you again.